View. Today we'll be looking at me versus the ladder Protoss play on the map Cloud Kingdom. Here we have me as the blue Zerg in the bottom left, and play as the red Protoss in the top right. No idea who he is. His play is not really relevant. He's not particularly good. We're actually just looking at a play style that I've been messing around with ZvP. I actually copied off Symbol from the MLG Spring Arena #2 matches, I believe versus MC, but just his ZvP play style in general. Symbol's one thing he's a great player in general, but one thing I really like about his play is how much he incorporates drops and to a lesser extent Nidus networks compared to other Zergs. It's very Brood War Zerg-esque in the fact that it gives you a lot of mobility. It makes you the fast race again, which is something Zergs lose a lot when they focus too much on hive tech. And so I saw him go kind of the max Roach, 12-minute max Roach style that is so popular, but instead he delayed the max a little bit and he actually mixed in drop play, which is really, really smart in my opinion, because the big strength of that style is not winning straight up fights. If you fight straight up versus a Mortal Sentry army, you're going to get rolled no matter how many roaches you have. But what's smart about what he does is he loads up 4 overlords, goes back into main, while at the same time he hits the 3rd and then he goes into natural. And it's just a much easier way to spread your opponent out, which is the entire purpose of that style. So it's something I've been trying to incorporate quite a bit in my play. And it's difficult because the gas or the lift upgrades, 200 gas for ventral sacks and then another 100 gas for the speed upgrade. So it is a very costly tech path, and it can come back to bite you, just given how many resources that is and how fragile the mid-game ZvP can be if Protoss chooses to be aggressive. However, if you recognize the situation, see an opening to get the drop upgrades, it can then be very, very powerful if you utilize it correctly. Here he's just doing a little cannon rush, but he actually misplaced the pylon. You're supposed to place the pylon out here and then put the cannon back here. Not really sure why he did that. Upon seeing that, obviously that's not going to work. Way too much surface area for the drones to attack. So in order to do this, I'd go a little bit faster tech. I believe this is just his general ZvP opening. I was copying it build for build just in case there was something unique about what he does. He gets double gas at 36 instead of the later 44 or 46 that players like DRG and Stefano use. This gives you a faster lair, faster scouting options, faster tech options. It can also be good against a lot of all-ins. You get that roach speed much quicker. You have the option to go burrow. And most importantly, I believe, is the faster scouting, the faster potential overseer. It lets you know what's going on. It lets you know if you have the opportunity to go those lift upgrades, or if you need a certain kind of tech, if you need fast infestors for an immortal all-in, or if you need fast hydras for a heavy void ray plus warp gate unit all-in, or something of that sort. So kind of interesting. ZvP in general had been moving towards that later and later, just get the maximum possible economy. His is more of a smarter style. You scout what's going on and then you respond to it efficiently instead of just brute forcing your way through. I kind of like that. Zergling's going around looking for pylons here. I see that probe come off. I realize that there's going to be a pylon. Go kill it immediately. Also have my Roach Warren and the Evo chamber down. I see that he doesn't warp in immediately. If it's going to be like a +1 4 gate or something, he would have warped in there. The gateways open up at 8 minutes with that timing. Given that he didn't warp in immediately, I feel like it's for something else, so I put down a Spore in my 2nd and 3rd base. I know it's not going to be an initial immediate rush, and given that the likelihood of DT and Void Ray goes way up, he is actually going DT. I didn't scout that, but he is going DT. And so in order to respond to that, obviously you want to have a couple of Spore Crawlers all over. And if he is just going for a delayed Warp Gate rush or Blink Stalker or something of that sort, 2 Spore Crawlers it's not a huge deal. It's not going to make or break the game for you. It's well worth it. And so here the DT's caught, loses 3 of them, 1 on the way. As I said, not a particularly good player. Don't really watch what he does, just watch what I do. So now this is the opportunity that I need. I realize he's wasted a lot of resources on that DT tech. It did absolutely nothing. I have a very well-established economy. So I start that Overlord speed. I'll be getting lift pretty soon. Also getting my Evo chamber upgrades. One difference, Symbol goes for the +1 range attack when he does this. I feel Carapace is much better as it's all-purpose, and sometimes you're forced to switch to Ling Infestor if they're going for a very heavy Immortal build, as it turns out he is doing with those 2 Robos. So I much prefer the Carapace opening, even though it is a little bit more costly. Also putting down a 2nd Evo chamber. Whenever you know you're going to be going into a macro game, you have an economic advantage, you know that you're not going to die. Get that 2nd Evo chamber. Upgrades are so incredibly important. It's well worthwhile. Here we see the Ventral Sacks upgrade going down. Also getting the Baneling nest. Banelings, if you ever go drops, you should get Banelings. Baneling bombs are just so incredibly effective. On mineral lines if you catch them off guard, but even in the main battles, especially if you're using them in conjunction with Fungal. You fungal an army, and then you drop Banelings on the Stalkers and the Sentries, you just completely neuter it immediately. It's one of the most cost-efficient tactics that Zerg has, short of hive tech play. And so here we see me maxing up, just getting my upgrades, getting this other base. Killing those 3 DTs early on gave me a ridiculous amount of leeway in the game, so I'm able to just do whatever I want. But like I said, that's what this build is kind of for. It's for taking advantage of the situation where you have the opportunity to do quite a bit. As Zerg, if you hold on early game versus anything, you have a pretty big window of space where Protoss is just going to sit back and play defensively. And sometimes that can lead to Protoss getting a death ball that hits a timing that's really scary, just because it's really hard to pressure a defensive Protoss. This kind of goes around that. There's no real way for him to deal with this. He has this really tight defensive choke here, but if he wants to come back and defend this, then he gives that up. I run in here with this army. I have some Baneling drops in here if I want to actually engage him. But at the same time, he's losing this Nexus. It just prevents him from doing that super defensive play. And there we saw those Baneling drops. Went in there, took out a lot of sentries. And he held that off very well. He fought efficiently in that battle. He's got a lot of Immortals. But as I said, I already have the sentry, or the Infestor defense ready. And here we see the Spine Crawlers going up. And this is his last all-in. I have these in here. Take out pylons, that's the most important thing. Prevents warp-ins, unpowers the gateways, prevents them from reinforcing. And here I have this nice defensive position. Got a couple of Baneling bombs going in, take out the sentries. Then I have these Infestors here. Infestors plus Spine Crawlers are just ridiculously good defensively against anything without Colossus. So here we see he's in a lot of trouble. That's an all-in. It's not going to work out. So not the best game, not really informative for how to play well, but just a really interesting little tactic that bypasses a lot of problems I've had with ZvP recently. I saw Symbol did that and I liked it, so wanted to share it with you guys. And this was an EG replay review. If you enjoyed this, please check out other similar content at our website, evilgeniuses.net, and thank you for watching.